Callum Peters, an Australian teenage star, has been robbed of gold after yet another absurd Commonwealth Games judging decision. When the judges' scores were published, the Australian, who was competing in his maiden senior event, demonstrated nothing but elegance, with Scotland's Sam Hickey claiming the victory by the tiniest of margins. Keep an eye out for further information on this subject. Let us begin with an outline of the situation. Fans in Australia questioned Judge Number 5, Mazlan Amzah's judgment, as he was the only judge to score an otherwise overwhelming final round from Peters in favor of Hickey. The win was eventually won by the smallest of margins, 29-28 times 3, 28-29 times 2. Amzah's unusual final round score dominated the tournament, which also saw Hickey get 3 warnings for headbutting throughout the fight. Despite taking note of his opponent's warnings, Peters said after the bout that he would just take what he could learn from the competition and move on. "I felt like I landed a lot more hits than my opponent did in the previous round. Things like this do happen. I think there were a lot of headbutts throughout the rounds, and I believe he earned around 16 warnings for them. So be it. You learn from your mistakes," Peters explained. "I'm not sure what the judges, saw, but I simply need to go over the fight and see how I did. I have no idea what the judges, perceive. I've never participated in an international fight before, and I'm still trying to figure things out at 19 years old. I can't wait to get inside there a second time." Followers on social media went berserk as the 19-year-old athlete came agonizingly close to earning the gold medal. Moving on, another Australian boxer was deceived in the Commonwealth Games. Last week, Alex Winwood was similarly unsuccessful in Birmingham. In the opening round of their quarter-final encounter, Winwood leads Zambia's Patrick Chinyemba by a game. Chinyemba knocked out the Australian with a 1-2 in the second round. Chinyemba won the round and the fight on 3 counts, despite Winwood's rapid standing. Winwood was eliminated from medal contention in the quarterfinals due to the contested ruling. "She's already brushed it off," said Channel 7 analyst John Harker. "That is just inconceivable, incredible. I'm sorry for Alex," Harry Garside said. Before he got up, Harker recalls, "She waved it away. Take notice of how effortlessly he glides. Continuing to fight was a terrible choice. Maybe he'll come out on top. We will not give up under any circumstances. You've just done a heinous crime. Investigate his growth, motivation, and limb condition. This, according to Garside, is not the end. Allow him to get up and count to 8 before turning to face you." Winwood said that the decision was taken immediately after the bout. "Despite several delays, I comfortably won this tournament's opening round. I've never considered being hurt. I was fortunate not to receive any head damage. After my setback, I was determined to prove to everyone that I was more than a pathetic excuse for an Australian. That was the first thought that sprang to me when I awakened. Okay, I went down, but this one's for the Aussies and black boys to demonstrate what kind of people we are," I said. Regrettably, I never got the opportunity. Following that, Bob Arum wants the winner of Bivol vs. Ramirez to fight Beterbiev so that he may become the indisputable champion at 175. According to Bob Arum, the winner of Dmitry Bivol vs. Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez will face Artur Beterbiev for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. Beterbiev, 18-0, 18 KOs, must defeat Anthony Yarde to become the undisputed 175-pound champion in October. Yarde, 22-2, 21 KOs, isn't a well-known boxing contender. Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, a former boxer currently promoted by Golden Boy, will face Bivol. As Bob Arum has previously stated, the odds are not in Bivol's favor. In light of Zurdo Ramirez's previous results, Arum's prediction that Bivol would defeat Gilberto appears dubious. Ramirez, at 31 years old, is too old to fight at light heavyweight and should instead compete at cruiserweight. Zurdo Ramirez has become excruciatingly sluggish, in addition to being overweight for his age and gender. Tarasov Beterbiev has 3 championships, and we want him to win all 4 if he beats Anthony Yarde and Bivol Ramirez wins, Arum said. The winner of Bivol vs. Ramirez will face Beterbiev for the 175-pound title. Some boxing fans believe Arum is attempting to protect Beterbiev from Bivol due to their fighting styles. Because of his May victory over Canelo Alvarez, many believe Bivol is the best fighter at 175 pounds. If Arum truly cares about Beterbiev's rising star, he will allow him to face Bivol if he defeats Ramirez. Using Arum to protect Beterbiev is harmful. Beterbiev must maximize his earnings after turning 37 by fighting the best 175-pounders as soon as possible. Next, Australian boxing veteran Johnny Famechon, 77, has died. The World Championship battle in London's Albert Hall in 1969, in which the Australian boxer beat Cuban Jose Legra, is largely considered as the pinnacle of his career. Famechon became the 3rd person to be dubbed a legend in 2012 after being elected into the Australian National Boxing Hall of Fame's contemporary category in 2003. Jean-Pierre Famechon's family immigrated to Australia when he was 5 years old, after he was born in France in 1945. He has a professional boxing record of 56 wins, 6 draws, and 5 losses in almost 20 years. After winning the World Championship in London in 1969, Famechon returned to Melbourne with the keys to the city. He won a tough points decision against Fighting Harada of Japan for the WCB featherweight title. In their rematch for the world title 6 months later in Japan, Famechon easily beat Harada, knocking him out in the 15th round. After successfully successfully defending his WBC title, he quit at the age of 24 after losing a close points decision to Mexican Vicente Saldivar in Rome in May 1970. Famechon was trained by Ambrose Palmer, a professional prize fighter and Australian rules football player who never fought as an amateur. Famechon had a stroke and developed cognitive damage after being hit by a car in Sydney in 1991. He received an AM in the Queen's Birthday Honours list earlier that year for his extraordinary services to professional boxing, 2022. Moving on, Adrian Broner advises Ryan Garcia not to mess with Tank Davis. Ryan Garcia, according to Adrian Broner, should not fight Gervonta Tank Davis. Leave him alone, Broner warns Ryan, 23-0, 19 KOs. Ryan, 23, lacks the necessary professional experience to go on WBA regular lightweight champion Tank Davis, 27-0, 25 KOs. If an agreement can be reached, Ryan may meet Tank for Tank's lightweight title later this year. Others in the boxing community believe Ryan is simply trying to make a quick buck before moving up to the 140-pound weight class. Ryan has less opportunities to progress as a boxer than others, since he wants to retire at the age of 26. Ryan should not fight Tank, according to Adrian Broner. I love you, he finally told Ryan. Send an email to Ryan. I'll get in touch with Ryan. All of these heroes are my pals. The whole time Ryan was on the phone with me. At this point in his career, he has no business being around Tank. I told him, I realize that this is a major boxing event, but please do not bring Tank. Dude, Tank Davis can't be hurt. Leave him alone, Broner pleaded, adding that everyone wants to fight. In an interview with FaceHub TV, Oscar De La Hoya said that Ryan Garcia is interested in a bout with Gervonta Davis. In this discussion, we talk about it. Okay, let's continue. Hearing the other side is an excellent place to start. We just want a full-fledged war. De La Hoya said that they are planning a magnificent fight for later this year, but would only reveal information when negotiations progress. Finally, according to Fraser Clark, Robert Garcia has brought out Anthony Joshua's evil guy. Robert Garcia, Anthony Joshua's new trainer, was dubbed evil by Fraser Clark. Clark believes Joshua, 32, is too kind to defeat Usyk for the heavyweight championship, 19-0, 13 KOs. Even if Joshua, 24-2, 22 KOs, adjusts his tactics, he might still lose against Usyk. Usyk may try to cut Joshua off or cash in if he feels exhausted. Tony Joshua deserves your respect. Fraser Clark felt forced to express his displeasure with the news. Robert Garcia is successful. The cat is no longer in the bag. In the heavyweight division, Britain is enjoying a historic night. Clark feels Joshua will be the underdog after 12 rounds due to outboxing. According to Hearn, Anthony Joshua will defeat Usyk. An altercation, in my view, is inescapable. When compared to other heavyweights, Usyk stands out as an exceptional heavyweight. Hearn has trust in AJ, and the two are tight. Hearn has said that a loss against Usyk would not be the end of Joshua's career. Hearn is optimistic about AJ's rehabilitation. Joshua has a champion's attitude. Professional boxing fans, according to Johnny Fisher, Joshua is curious about what went wrong. Individuals who talk loudly in the presence of Usyk will be ejected in increasing numbers. The awkward, enormous Chisora was Usyk's most difficult opponent. Joshua is a skilled boxer. I believe he should use a traditional approach of frightening people. Tricky. It's tough to put words into action. Fisher went with the Usyk. That brings us to the conclusion of our video for today. We hope you had a good time. Make sure to press the subscribe button on your way out. Thanks for your time.